I'm Jono, auditing Rsync, Rclone, and Syncthing to see if a 30-year-old algorithm can still beat the cloud. I wrote the script and Al is on the voiceover. Let's start.
The algorithm behind the oldest of these three was a PhD dissertation, a 5-page academic paper on rolling checksums published in 1996 became the tool that underpins virtually every Linux server backup system on the planet. The same person later tried to reverse engineer a source code management tool. The company behind it got so angry they revoked access for every Linux developer using it. Linus Torvalds, frustrated, built Git instead. The second tool was created by a man who founded his own cloud hosting company, then walked away from it in 2020 to work on a free open source project full-time. In 2017, Amazon banned it overnight, and thousands of users lost access to their backups without warning. The third is Dropbox without Dropbox. No cloud, no server, no third party touches your data. Its official Android app was archived in 2024 because the platform it runs on actively fights against the way it works. Rsync was written by Andrew Tridgell, an Australian computer scientist who published the algorithm as his PhD thesis at the Australian National University in 1996. The first release of the tool happened the same month as the paper. The problem he solved was simple and expensive. In the mid-90s, dial-up was the norm. If you changed one line in a 50-megabyte file and needed to sync it to another machine, existing tools sent the entire 50 megabytes again. Tridgell's insight was that you could compute what changed without having both files in the same place. The destination splits its copy into chunks, computes checksums, and sends only those checksums to the sender. The sender scans its version, finds where the checksums match, and transmits only the parts that differ. Change one paragraph in a 500 megabyte document, and Rsync sends roughly that paragraph across the wire. This is called delta transfer, and it is the reason Rsync became infrastructure-grade software nearly 3 decades ago. The tool is on every Linux distribution by default. It encrypts transfers natively over secure shell. It preserves file permissions, ownership, timestamps, and access control lists precisely enough for system-level backups. It has been battle-tested for 30 years. But it processes one file at a time. In 2025, on a 10 gigabit per second network connection, Rsync saturates as little as 15% of available bandwidth. A benchmark published in May 2025 showed that switching to a parallelized competitor on the same hardware and same files gave a 4 times speed up. The Rsync transfer took over 8 minutes. The competitor finished in 2 minutes 15 seconds. A 30-year-old design decision is now the bottleneck on modern hardware. It also cannot talk to cloud storage at all. No object storage, no Google Drive, no Backblaze, nothing. It speaks secure shell and its own daemon protocol. If your destination is the cloud, Rsync is not your tool. Rclone was started in 2012 by Nick Craig Wood, a Cambridge-educated physicist turned software engineer. It began as a tool called Rsync, built specifically for one cloud storage backend. Craig Wood was tired of noisy home server hardware and wanted to move to cloud storage, but found nothing with the elegance of Rsync for cloud backends. He renamed it, expanded it, and by 2020 had walked away from Memset, the cloud hosting company he had founded, to work on Rclone full-time. No acquisition, no venture funding. He runs a consulting company on the side with his son. His biography reads, open source, Rclone, family, sleep, pick any 2. The tool now supports over 70 cloud storage backends. Object storage, Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Backblaze, Azure, Cloudflare, and dozens more. It runs multi-threaded parallel transfers that saturate high bandwidth connections where Rsync cannot. It can mount any cloud storage as a local disk on your machine, which is the workflow thousands of home media server users depend on for streaming libraries directly from cloud storage. It offers a transparent encryption layer that encrypts file names, paths, and contents before upload so the provider sees encrypted data and nothing else. Where the backend supports it, Rclone can copy between 2 cloud accounts without routing data through your own machine at all. The critical limitation is that Rclone does not do delta transfer. It compares whole files. If you change one line in a 1 gigabyte file, Rclone uploads the entire gigabyte again. For documents and code where files are small, this barely matters. For large video projects, database dumps, or virtual machine images, where a small change means re-uploading gigabytes, Rsync is dramatically more efficient. This is the most commonly misunderstood difference between the two. In 2017, Amazon banned Rclone from its consumer storage service overnight. The authentication key was embedded in the open source code. Amazon revoked it. Thousands of users who had been backing up to what was marketed as unlimited storage lost access to their backups without warning. Craig Wood responded transparently and worked toward a fix, but the incident exposed a structural reality. Any cloud provider can revoke third-party tool access for policy reasons. Your data was still there, your ability to reach it was not. Syncthing was built in 2013 by Jakob Borg, a Swedish developer and network security consultant. The stated design goal was blunt. Your data is your data alone, and you deserve to choose where it is stored, whether it is shared with a third party, and how it travels over the internet. This was a direct rejection of Dropbox, not just the product, but the entire business model of Cloud Sync. The architecture is peer-to-peer mesh. No central server. Devices discover each other, authenticate using unique cryptographic identifiers that require explicit approval on both sides, and sync directly over connections encrypted with transport layer security at all times. Even the relay servers that help devices behind firewalls cannot read the data passing through them. Change a file on one machine, and within seconds to minutes it appears on every other authorized device. It transfers only the changed blocks of files, similar to how Rsync handles deltas, but implemented for a peer-to-peer
model. The project spent 5 years in beta before releasing version 1 because the team refused to ship that number until they trusted it. The project is maintained by a Swedish non-profit foundation with 3 named board members, which is more durable than a single developer's side project, but still a small operation. The conflict resolution is the long-standing gap. When 2 devices modify the same file simultaneously, Syncthing renames the older version with a conflict suffix and keeps both. There is no built-in interface to review, compare, or resolve these conflicts. They sit in your folders until you deal with them manually. A feature request for better conflict handling was filed in January 2025 and remains open. The official Android app was archived in late 2024. Android's aggressive background process management actively fights against a sync daemon that needs to run continuously. Community forks exist and are actively maintained, but they are volunteer efforts. The only way onto an iPhone is a paid third-party app the project has no control over. And because the system is purely device-to-device, both ends need to be online to sync. If your desktop is off, your laptop cannot reach it. You provide the hardware, you provide the uptime, that is the trade. These are not 3 options for the same job. They solve different problems built by different people in different decades with different philosophies about where data lives and how it moves. If you are on Linux syncing between servers over secure shell and bandwidth costs money, Rsync's Delta algorithm is still unmatched after nearly 30 years. Accept the single-threaded bottleneck on fast networks, or accept that it is not the right tool for bulk transfers at speed. If your destination is cloud storage, Rclone is the only serious option. 70 backends, parallel transfers, encryption before upload, and the ability to mount remote storage as a local disk. Accept that it re-uploads entire files when anything changes, and that any provider can revoke access without warning. If you want continuous sync between your own devices, with no third party involved, Syncthing is the architecture Dropbox should have been. Accept that you provide the hardware, the uptime, and the patience for conflict files nobody built an interface to resolve. The most common setup among experienced users runs 2 of these simultaneously. Syncthing for real-time device sync, Rclone for nightly cloud backup. They are not competitors, they are a toolkit. Every choice is a trade-off. At least now you know what you're trading.